Welcome to Agents of Screen. Today we are going to be talking about the last and final episode of all time,
Oh man.
Game of Thrones. This is going to be a special podcast where we will be discussing not only the episode but the season and the entire show all together. You can catch it on YouTube, you catch it on Spotify, iTunes, all of that. All of those podcasts we will be putting up there for you, man, to listen. Who we got over here today for the final episode?
Yeah, you got DK in the building, aka AOS God.
It's God.
No, this is it. This is it for the episode, isn't it? This is it. We have to, hype this thing. That's my AKAs. That's it. AOS God. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, and you also have your boy Miles, of course, aka the rightful heir to the Iron Throne.
Jesus.
The broken guy. I'm the real, rightful heir to the Iron Throne.
Okay.
Let's get straight into it, man.
Yeah, that's your boy James. Alright, so boy, this episode. So I'm new. I've tried to be neutral about this whole season. And what I want to say about this episode is, based on the season that we watched, this is the episode I expect to happen for the season finale. Based on the season that we watched, it's not the finale that I wanted, but the finale that I expected from all over the entire show for this season. It was okay.
I agree. The thing is, I mean, not to cut you off, I know you're doing your summary thing, but the episode itself, there was nothing wrong with the episode because, to be fair, yes, okay, yeah, no, actually, there was a few things wrong with the episode. But at the end, the things that happened, you couldn't want anything more than that. And what I mean by that is, Jon never wanted to be king. Arya wanted to do her own thing anyway. She doesn't give a crap. And Sansa got what she wanted. That is what she wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
Even when, and she looked good. I'm not even gonna lie, like she looked good in that seat with her crown. The way they did the cinematics on her just sitting down on her throne and everyone just bowing. Yeah, she was eating that all up. So in that sense, the Starks got what they deserved. Yeah, fair enough. Jon, I guess you could argue and say no, he got banned from whatever, but he's a lone wolf. No pun intended with his wolf. So really, what would have ended with Jon? Like he got what he wanted per se. He got to do his own thing. So yeah, I mean,
like
is this your episode summary? Yeah, are you going into like everything straight away?
No. Sorry, I mean like what I mean by, because the thing is, I'm gonna obviously go in on this whole show. And I'm gonna go in on this whole season. So I'm just trying to iron out what I like in it. That's what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I like. And as far as the nonsense they did throughout the whole season, I can't knock how they end. I just don't like the process of them reaching that ending. But so if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like Jon Snow, he. At the end of the day, he got to be with the true Northerners, in it. So although he got sent to Castle Black, he didn't have to stay there. He's walking with Tormund to the far north, and he would have wanted to go. He said he would have wanted to go with Tormund anyway, but he's got his duty to deal with. So, that's I'm alright with that. It's not the kind of situation I'm waiting for Jon Snow, but you are right. He never wanted to be king in the first place, and at least now he's free, so to speak. So he can be with his boy. And also, I'm also happy that he was actually finally petting his flipping direwolf, while he said goodbye to his direwolf for potentially for good, and never even petted him. That on episode 4, that was savage.
That's what bothered you.
that actually burnt me. That actually burnt me a bit. I'm not gonna lie, but seeing him pet the flipping direwolf and let's go.
They don't get no love. Those wolves don't get no love ever since after early seasons. they just forgot about him. So yeah.
There's 2 walls
Before
left.
we
Arya's
what I'd say is before we start getting into individual characters, what I would just say is like, for me personally, in terms of the show, I think I won't go into too much, but it's a great show, but they just felt like they dropped the ball on the final season. And what I will say is that what I enjoyed this season and in this episode, I think the actors they done a really good job, you know,
Yeah.
and the cinematography was outstanding throughout the season as well. But I feel like they were
100.
let down. They were let down massively by the script. They were let down massively by the script. And what I will say, this is the first show that I've seen, the first great show that I've seen, where the final season is the worst season in the whole show. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't argue with that.
That's actually accurate. That is
the worst season
accurate.
in the entire show.
The thing is, unfortunately, the acting in this season was actually quite like stellar. Do you know what I mean? It was good acting. It's just the like I said, I was saying before, is that I think I enjoyed the journey more than the destination. It's like you enjoyed going throughout like season 1 to well, in my opinion, I actually didn't mind season 7. I know some people were a bit funny with season 7.
I was okay with it.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it. Yes, I did notice slightly that there were some issues with it, but I think in general, considering what happened in that season, I liked it, right? But with this season, there's just errors everywhere. Like, it's just inexcusable errors. Like, for example, what we just talked about. I don't want to. I don't know when we're going to go into like the issues.
We can discuss. We can talk
about it now.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. Let's mention these.
So okay. So if we talk about this episode, I want to talk about this episode because obviously this is what this podcast is. This episode. Now, here's my issue with this stupid episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the beginning, Tyrion walking through the thing, and then you see that guy just walking around. The one guy walking past, like he's lost or whatever. Fine, he's in shot. Fine, no problem with that. Yeah, do your thing. Somehow, from episode 5, you saw what happened to Cersei and Thingy. They got completely caved in, gone. Yeah, you see the different levels of the castle just dropping. Yeah, You're telling me this dwarf was able to dig himself, dig through all of that rubble. Yeah, if you watch that last episode,
because he did say he was doing that alone as well. I was wondering that myself.
And he looks up in that little section, and you're telling me it was that easy to just get to where Cersei and
oh, that's the thing.
He's dead.
In that little room, there was a dragon's skull.
Yeah.
If Cersei and Jaime hid inside the dragon's skull, they would have survived. And also,
they just wanted to die.
Mad.
They just had enough.
And also, like as you said, all the rubble was dropping, but when he went in there was just like a few bricks. Man moved 2 bricks. And you saw the bodies. I was like, what? I moved 2 bricks, And
I'm just thinking, hold on. You lot can't be serious. This is what I'm saying. It's just stuff like that. I just feel like that's like rookie stuff, man. Like, you can't.
Like it was a waste of time.
To that slide. And then on top of that, okay, yes. I'm obviously going to fast forward slightly. Not even slightly. Pretty much to the end. And I'll come back, yeah? I'm talking about the issues, as in errors with the show. Errors in the episode, yeah? Other thing I didn't like, was the fact that John goes to the north, the real north or true north, whatever you want to call it. I swear that dragon burned down that whole flipping wall, bruv.
He did.
That's a good point. How is that wall still there?
He mashed up the whole wall.
Oh wait, no, you know what? No, you know what? Tell a lie. At the end of season 7, he did mash up the wall, but there was still part of the wall left.
Yeah, but it looked like it was clean. They could at least
pristine.
It did look like
it looked like they built it today.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they built the wall today.
Even the ice, because remember that dragon burnt the whole bare the ice down. So I don't want to I'm just saying little things like that. You could have easily just put some ice melted on the side to show, oh yeah, that's where the dragon burnt the thing or whatever. Little shit, yeah. And then on top of that, coming back now, rewinding now. Oh man, I could go on all day, bro. Why is the Unsullied somehow they just respawn? Because the Unsullied army was fat, bruv. There was bare.
No, Daryl, it wasn't even the Unsullied
battle, bruv. Yeah,
no, it wasn't the Unsullied that got me mad. It was the Dothraki.
The Dothraki. The Dothraki respawned as well.
Bruv,
Dothraki respawned as well. Like basically, all of them got wiped out in the Battle of Winterfell. Yeah, only a few of them came back. Yeah, but now there's a whole bunch of them. They're screaming.
Did you see them out? It was wild.
Bro, the worst part is even when you see what's his name? Who was the one walking up? Oh, that was it, John. When he's walking up the sort of like, you know, he's walking towards the Queen, where they're all the Unsullied are there. And I'm thinking, bruv, there was not this many Unsullied. Even at the Battle of Winterfell, wasn't that many Unsullied, bruv. Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
But somehow, bro, if you see the background, it spans. I'm talking like it is literally over her head. When they show her at the top, they show you the point of view, and there's pure. But anyway, forget about that. Fine.
As well, because even sorry to cut you off, but even when they turned up to King's Landing for the first time, in the scene where Missandei got beheaded, when they had the Unsullied there, it was like 50 of them, and all of a sudden
it
now
even on levels.
It's mad. And the worst part is, there's little things like that kind of annoy me, where I think you lot discussed it as well before, where somehow Drogon is just invincible now. He's just some godlike dragon, where he just, like, I mean, okay, we're going into the episode before that, but even then, even like, how did Dothraki, like, my issue with the Dothraki is they started raping and pillaging people, they were like, you know, like, there was this scene in the previous episode where they were trying to rape females, and then what's his name? John stopped one of them and said, "Bro, we doing like allow doing that." Not only that, when you had the Dothraki going, like, they were just going sick, the fact they just let them off, after, you know, like after when they got to the king, like when they were at the they're deciding who's going to be king. Like, they just let them off. Like, okay, we're cool with them. Just, you know, they just murked bare people and raped bare people. Let's just forget about them. And where did they go at the end? What happened to them at the end of the show?
They went to Missandei's. They went to.
No, that was the Unsullied. The Unsullied went to North for the Dothraki.
But isn't he in charge? He's like the god of war now. Like he
just took the Unsullied.
Are we sure about that? He could have took both. So Dothraki are just literally just like jamming somewhere.
They're just jamming somewhere. But what was happening in the episode? Obviously, how did you guys feel about all the Daenerys and Jon scene?
Oh, bruv. Yeah. You know what? Maybe someone else should take bruv. This, you know what? Okay, look, like I said before the beginning of the pod, I understand they had to do it that way. There's no other way, because I understand that would have happened in the end. That's why I don't have a problem with the show of the direction they took. My issue is how they got there. She didn't even get to sit on the throne. Like they literally, after all of that whole madness for 8 seasons, no one sat on that throne except from the Lannisters and that. And, you know, a couple of Starks, whatever. But I'm saying, as in someone that wins the throne, that dirty Drogon just burns the whole thing. And I'm thinking, wait, but I want to see someone sit on that thing. Like, you've watched this show for 8 seasons, and you kind of want the whole, like, you know, the music playing. Like, they even teased it, because she's walking towards the throne. And you think, she's going to sit down, they're going to play the tune or whatever. I'm not expecting a crown or nothing on her head, but just some sort of satisfaction of someone.
I guess that goes back to her vision, I suppose, and the vision that she had. No one, she walks past the Iron Throne and doesn't sit on it. So I guess, you know, but I get what you're saying.
Or whatever.
But with that scene, what I had a problem with is that obviously Jon killed Daenerys. How did Grey Worm spare his life?
That is actually very true. I have to say that.
Why did he spare his life?
But you know what?
5 minutes before in King's Landing, Grey Worm is slitting people's throats and saying like, "Right, anyone who is opposed to Daenerys is gonna get their throat bust." And then someone kills his queen, someone who freed him from slavery, and he's been by her side for 8 years.
Yeah.
kills her, and then he just spares him and puts him in a dungeon. For what reason? I'm not quite sure.
Well,
What was you saying, James?
Yeah, that it doesn't make sense because even like he's a very smart person, but he was ready to go to war rapid as soon as Missandei got killed. So the fact that he
Yeah,
didn't do that
completely changed his character as
yeah,
well.
he just snapped. He just snapped just like her. But obviously, I think he knew deep down that if he did that, it would have caused a war again. And he probably didn't want to see more of his people get deaded for the same thing.
But you know what though, James? It would have been nice if they had alluded to that, as in if they had kind of went like if see his reaction, because that's what I was waiting for. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to see the reaction too.
Yeah, like if I saw when I saw Drogon, yeah, I thought, oh, you're gonna get it now, bruv. Like when you see him like creeping up behind man,
Yeah.
Why did Drogon not kill him? Why did Drogon not
Well,
kill
that's the question as well, isn't it? It's one of those things where you just think maybe because he's a Targaryen, maybe it's because he's like, I don't know.
I'm not buying that. Someone else said that to me, but I'm not buying that.
I'm just like, I don't know.
I think maybe it is because he's a Targaryen. Who knows?
The reason why I'm not buying that, is because say for example, okay, Targaryen is your family, cool. Imagine like one of your cousins kills your mom. Are you gonna be like, oh, you're my cousin, so I'm not gonna kill you, bro? You're dead.
You know what though? I think because he took his frustration out on the throne. And I don't
why though?
That's sort of like symbolic thing. I don't know. But
I don't know why he even cared about. Why does a dragon care about a throne? Like
exactly, he's never seen that throne in his life.
You never saw a man's like, fuck this throne, motherfucker, and then like burn it.
Exactly. What does he know about throne, fam? He doesn't understand English. He don't know. He's never been to King's Landing before. He's never seen a throne before. So why is he burning a throne for? It makes no sense, bro. I don't care about none of that symbolic stuff. And like,
it's past dragons like legacy like transferred over to his consciousness, and like he knows about the throne. Like.
And speaking of symbolism,
sorry, if you lot have spoken about, obviously you didn't like the way. Were you okay with how Dany died, or?
I expected it to happen. I wanted personally I wanted Arya to kill him. I know you wanted, like, I know you were saying she was too OP down, but like a green eye must be shut. A green eye supposed to be shut.
With how she died. I'm not happy with how she died, and I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you how I like her to die. Yeah. Now, because I like those like ironic or poetic deaths in the sense that you try to like, like, I don't want to bring Avengers into this, but like how Endgame kind of just was linking all the different movies and bringing up all the different, like nudges, like, nods to like certain things. And I feel like, obviously I wanted Jaime's character to find redemption, yeah? In a sense that it's ironic that obviously he killed the Mad King last time, and then he somehow finds a way to kill her, yeah? And it would be kind of like one of those things where it's like, right, I've killed another like Targaryen, mad person on the throne, and like well, I just not saying full circle, but I feel like there were some people where I think some deaths deserve to be given to certain people. That's what I liked about the previous seasons, as in like the seasons before, like when Arya killed what's his name,
Littlefinger.
No, not Littlefinger.
Walter Frey.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fitting. Yeah. Because the way she dropped it made man eat his own children in the pie. Yeah. And it's little. This I'm saying, it's like little nuances like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was sick.
That's so sick. And then he murked his whole clan. Yeah, and telling them, yeah, you feel tough killing kids and like just some art into the deaths. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like even if Dany died that way, I would have liked her to be looking at her belly, yeah, and then looking at the throne, and then crawling to the throne, or something like that, where you're just like, you see, like, I
don't mind that.
Close to the throne or something. But
the reason why I don't like it for me, reason why I don't like it for me is like, obviously we've been with Daenerys since episode 1 of season 1, and I feel like she didn't really get like she got a quick death. She got flown away by Drogon, and then they didn't really speak about her after that. She was just like an afterthought. I'm thinking, raw, like, Look how much story we've had for Daenerys, and then all of a sudden she's gone, and then
Bruv,
no one spoke about it, and all of that. And as was something you said about the Mad King as well. Jamie killed the Mad King because he wanted to save the innocence of King's Landing, right?
Yeah.
And he's known as a Kingslayer now. Like, he's walking around now. Jon is now the Queenslayer. He killed her because he thought like she's going on too mad. They need to put a stop to that, and they put him in the dungeons.
Yeah.
Like, exact same situation, but they treated both characters very differently. But I didn't like Daenerys'
I just think bigger characters. I know there's sometimes where there's shock value to deaths. Yeah, I'm not. I get that. Yeah, but there's some people like, because I was watching like YouTube videos of like all these different characters that you've watched throughout the whole show, and you're getting like nostalgic and stuff. And I feel like the episode is like 10 minutes in, you stab Dany in the chest. Yeah, she doesn't cry. She doesn't go in pain. She's not like, it's not dramatic. She just lies there. Yeah. You just see her. He looks at her. He kisses her. Like, who gets stabbed and just like doesn't say nothing? Like, she just looks down and went, "Oh, okay, you stabbed me. Oh, I'm dead now." Like, what? You could have like strung that out, man. Like, how could you do this to me? Or like something something.
This is the crowning point in the show. This is like literally where we find out who's gonna sit on the throne, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
I feel like playing that Bells of Shame, bruv, in Game of Thrones, bruv. Real talk. Just playing that for these D&D writers, bruv. It's mad. And then, yeah, go on.
No, I was saying that probably the biggest thing for me about her death, what I didn't really like, is that I feel like throughout the last few episodes, they've been saying like, Jon has to be the king. Tyrion saying it has to be Jon. Varys saying it has to be Jon, right? If they needed Jon that badly, wouldn't they have created a situation for him to be able to do away with Daenerys without being put down in the dungeons? They could have easily made Arya, like James said, killer in the shadows, and then they'll be like, "Oh shit, someone killed her," and then Jon could have easily stepped in. So I feel like this season they were building up like, it has to be Jon, has to be Jon, has to be Jon, and then immediately after, even Tyrion was championing this the most.
Yeah.
And then at the end he was saying, "Well, I think the best king would be Bran." It just didn't make no sense, bro.
Yeah,
it made sense based on the situation they were in. So
yeah. I
mean,
mean,
there was no way that as much as everyone else would have wanted Jon to be the king, there was no way that Grey Worm would have ever accepted that. He would have been like,
"Who's Grey Worm though? Who's Grey Worm really? Who's Grey Worm really?"
Grey Worm is the commander of the Dothraki and the Unsullied, bruv. Like, you don't want that beef, bruv.
No,
so what?
You don't want that beef, bruv.
It's not even that though. It's just because obviously everyone knows that he killed her, and I think it's one of those things where because when I was hearing these D&D writers talk, they like the whole shock value thing, even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it doesn't make sense. So they'll just flat out go, we want you to think that someone's going to kill this person, but then we just do this. And I'm like, yeah, but is there a reason for that? No, it's just shock value. So to me, the moment I hear people say that, because on a technical side, on a legitimate side, yes, Bran is actually, when you think about it,
it makes sense.
When Jon's not there and when Dany's not there, in terms of by right, he is by right. Maybe that Baratheon dude, the bastard kid, maybe, because he is by right as well, I guess.
Yeah,
no?
Is. Yeah, so, he's Baratheon's son.
Yeah. So, and he's given him the name as well, so he's still the son. But what really annoyed me, I think, and I forgot about that, you lot brought it up, nice, was Bran's character in this episode. Yeah? They made it out like he knew from the beginning, "Oh yeah, why do you think I'm here?" Because he said, "Oh yeah, would you be king?" And he goes, "Why do you think I'm here?" To make it like, oh, he like prophesied this from the beginning. That's why he was all doing all this other shit, yeah? So I just feel like you're going to make this dude that, I'm not saying no one really cared for, but this whole season, he's just been lazy and whack. What has he done? Like, he hasn't done anything. What is he like? And they still didn't explain what he did when he went into flipping sleep mode and what did
the crows?
Do?
Yeah.
Turn into fruition in this episode. I thought something was gonna happen.
for no reason. No
Nothing.
reason he did that. But before I say how I feel about Bran sitting on the throne, James, how did you feel about Bran sitting on the throne? Well, not the throne, but he's the king,
Yeah, like I said, there was no way they were ever going to allow Jon Snow because I think they would have too much turmoil with him doing it. So it made the most logical sense for them to have Bran be the king,
to keep the peace.
to keep the peace all around. It made sense for him to be the king. It did crack me up that the uncle tried to step up and be like, I was just like, Sansa was like, sit down, man.
But you know what? This is why I like Sansa now because her character growth is so sick. Yeah, in my opinion,
Sansa's a don.
She's so confident. Yeah, that's what I just liked about her. Like she's just like she can't fight for shit. I understand that, but in terms of like how she thinks now, like even that whole, like I said, the whole Littlefinger scene, I love that scene. The way she dominated that dude, bruv. Absolutely sick.
She's literally like Tyrion and Littlefinger in their prime combined. That's who she is.
To be fair, Tyrion was a waste of space this season as well. Absolutely.
He was. But you know what? I'm glad he's alive. Because him and Jon were my two favorite characters. I was like, do not kill off Tyrion to the end.
No, I wouldn't mind. You know what? I wouldn't have mind. From that performance, I wouldn't have mind if they killed him. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't have mind. Because he was doing some stupid shit. Yeah,
he made some silly mistakes. Even Sansa put it out.
You know the bit where he's in chains, and then obviously Jon, like they try to make the reverse, where Jon was obviously visit him in jail, saying, "Oh yeah, what do you want to do?" And then literally a week later, I don't know because I can't tell the time frames, but literally like later on, now you see it's reversed, and now Jon's in thingy, and now man has one of the highest level flipping jobs.
Even that was stupid as well, because obviously he came there as a prisoner. He came there to get sentenced, and then he started stalking, and Grey Worm was like, "Yeah, you shut up. You cannot speak here." And then immediately after, man went into some grand speech about, what, I've been thinking a lot while I've been imprisoned, and I think that what's going on?
Why is he,
bro? What's going on?
I don't understand.
But with Bran, for me personally, I feel like Bran being the king is a slap in the face to all Game of Thrones fans, and I'll tell you why. Because as Daryl said, as the information's been revealed to us, it would seem that he knew all along what would happen, and that would mean that he's like the real villain in the show, because that would mean he told Jon he is a Targaryen for no other reason than to drive a wedge between him and Daenerys, which would eventually, the events would lead up to where he would have to kill her, so then he could sit on the throne. And also because that would mean he could have intervened at any point in the story, because he knew what would happen. He could have walked into Drogon and say, you know what, Loud burning all these millions of people. He could have stopped that at any point, but he let all of that happen just so that he would be king. And even before this, when he was asking him questions, he's like, does he want to be a lord? He said, no, he doesn't want to be a lord of anything. He's like, I don't want any more. And all of a sudden, like now, as Daryl said, man saying, why do you think I traveled all this way? All of a sudden, man wants something now, okay.
You say this, but this is the same situation like Doctor Strange in Infinity War. Like, he could be seeing the future, and this could be the only possibility that they had for survival.
No, I'm not taking that.
No, but this is real talk. If you see the future. If you see the future and you see only one way of it outcoming,
no, fam.
The
only way I'm taking that, is if they tell us that, just like in Avengers. Imagine the same thing happened, and you'll be like, oh well, that must have been the only reason that we know it's the only outcome is because we were told by Doctor Strange, who literally traveled through time, and you saw. Unless we're told that in Game of Thrones, I'm not. Unless we're specifically told, I'm not accepting that.
But you know what though? Is it possible that he didn't see all those people dying in King's Landing? Because he can see some things, but not everything. I don't know. Like,
you can't see everything in it. So
no, I don't know if can he see everything? But obviously,
I don't think he can see everything. Because I don't think he knew that they were going to win against the Night King. But I think
then you could argue that he's seen the end game, yeah. And I don't, no pun intended. I mean, he's seen what happens at the end, as in I become king, yeah. So ultimately, all these things have to happen in order for him to be the king, right? Like you could say he's a villain, or you could say that now that he's king, things will actually change, as in I need to be king because these things need to happen. So, because I think, okay, now I'm not, I'm not defending. I'm just saying, I think, you know, like with most wars in the world, some people like they absolutely decimate everything in order for something else to rise to become, you know.
Well, that's what Ra's al Ghul tries to do in DC, innit? Like he topples like civilizations.
You would wipe everything, and funny thing is, Danny did say that in the episode. She turned around and said, because Thingy confronted her and said, John confronted her and said, you killed women and children, you burned them, and you didn't even think nothing of it, yeah. And I like the fact that they addressed that, because I swear, if they didn't tell her that, and the episode just ended, I'd have been like, hold on, so no one wants to tell this bitch that she just killed bare people? Like, I don't understand. Obviously,
then she said, she was like, oh yeah, I liberated them. I liberated the people of King's Landing. No, you didn't. You just killed them.
That statement, when I've heard her say that, that's wild.
Bro, you know what's mad about that bit as well? If you see the scene, she's smiling. As she's talking about it.
She's mad in there. She's gone crazy.
She's lost it. That's what I'm saying. So like, when he starts saying, you burn women and children, he goes, well, you know, it had to be this way for me to and now I've broken the wheel. And like, she's all like, I'm like, why is she smiling like that? Yeah. So I hate what John was trying to do, because there's no other way John would have done it. She had to kill her on the slide because everyone else would have murked her. But I said, I just think that, I mean, okay, what do you think about her? You know, obviously the way she died, they took her away, whatever. Drogon took her, which was a sick scene, I'm not gonna lie. But then I'm thinking, why did he take her? I mean, okay, I guess maybe to bury her or something. I don't know, burn her.
Midnight snack.
Maybe.
Midnight snack.
Maybe. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think we've covered the episode and that. But I think, what did you lot think of the actual season though? Did you think it was like?
Hold on, before we get into that, bro. Like, there was so many pointless stuff in this, bro. There were so many pointless things. No, there's so many pointless things. Like, for instance, Bran, before the Battle of Winterfell, when he was just sitting out there, and they was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, he's waiting for an old friend." Also, we come to find that the old friend was Jamie, who turned up. For what reason? Why is he waiting for his old friend? What was the reason?
Yeah, what did he tell him? Did he tell him anything?
He just told him. He came to the tree and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry for pushing you out the window." You know. And then Bran was like, "Oh, you don't care about that. Like, I don't want to harm anyone. I just, you know, you came here. If I do anything to you, then you won't be able to help us in the fight." So it was like pointless. And even like Arya, the whole scene with her finding the horse. What was the point of that?
That's all.
And that horse bit either.
And even in this episode,
she wasn't even on the horse in the episode 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what the symbolism was for that horse. I still trying to wrap
for no reason. It was for no reason. And even in this episode, you know, they've already given us a shortened season, and they chose to give us a minute of Tyrion fixing chairs by the table. For what reason? For what reason, fam?
It's a throwback from an old season.
He did do that. They
did that like one of the episodes.
Like wasting time. I don't care about that, bro.
Yeah, that is a waste of time. I think they didn't have enough time in this episode anyway because they were rushing everything. I would have just cut that out. I just don't think, you know, they come to the chairs, they sit down, they talk about stuff, you move on. Like, maybe they'll expect people to laugh at that bit. Oh, look at that. They did that thing from episode. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think for me, my favorite episode, funny enough, and I guess I'm going I'm going ahead of myself.
No, obviously, I talk about the season, so you might.
Obviously, the season. I don't think even the GOT Defense League. I don't even think. No. I mean, even the people in AOS. I don't think. You know, I don't know if you're gonna do this. I don't like. I'm just saying. I don't think. I would like to hear their take on what they thought the whole season. I would like to hear. They would say, no, you know what? This was whack. This was whack. This was good. This was whack. But I feel like this whole season, I think my favorite episode was actually episode 2, when it was the hype to the Battle of Winterfell, when everyone's kind of like, and nothing happened. That's a joke. Nothing really happened in the episode in terms of like fighting or action. But I like the character development. I thought the way they set up that episode, I thought, episode 3 is gonna be a madness because of the way they're all saying their goodbyes and saying this and that. And then all of a sudden, what? 4 people die? And you're telling me Sam survives and there's bare undead and Sam...
I wanna call out on that Sam death, because like he literally was on the floor fighting for dear life. This is Sam we're talking about. How is
Jamie should have died too? Jamie should have died too.
Yeah, 100%.
Truly.
You know what? Ultimately, that episode, this is the thing. That episode had so much potential. I could go through it all day, how much potential episode had, Even the idea that, for one, the fact that Jamie can't fight at all with left hand, he's whack, but yet there was about tens of thousands or whatever you want to call it, undead coming at them, and he was able to ward them off and still live, and Sam cannot fight at all, but somehow he lives. But then you know why he lives, because he becomes Grand Maester after. That was their setup. They obviously wanted him to be that.
I don't care about that.
And don't care. That's a joke. But I guess they got to wrap up everyone's, thingy or whatever.
The Night King was such a waste of time too.
Do you know, bro? Do you know the potential of that? Oh, it gets me so vexed when I keep thinking about it.
The Night King was a waste of time. The Battle of Winterfell was dark for no reason, bro. I know the God Defense League tried to say that you have to find your
some positives regarding the episode. I want to put in some.
One second. What the God Defense League try to say that is because your TV's doesn't have the right features.
That's a lie.
Access let's say like over.
It was so dumb, bro.
People
bro. Even the initial thing with the Dothraki, like no one would do that. Like you just sent them. Why would you send your initial wave, right, into an enemy you cannot see, and they have overwhelming numbers?
You know why you
why would you do that?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because they will respawn 10 times more on the episodes later.
You know what it was? You know what I think it was?
Doesn't make any sense.
No, I think it was. They wanted the cinematics of it, because when you see them with the torches, it looked sick. Yeah, because you saw the torches just running towards something, and then all the torches start fusing out, and it creates tension. So I think they did that solely just for looks. And it is stupid. It's dumb.
Stupid, bro.
It is dumb. Even the potential of the crypt. Do you know how sick they could have made that crypt? They could have made Ned Stark come out. They could have made
real talk.
All them Starks could have come out, and they could have had. Imagine, Sansa could have had a little, not say 1-to-1, but she would have seen her dad or seen her mum, and she would have been conflicted. I'm saying that crypt scene was just wasted, because they could have honestly had her do so many different things. They'll just, and then for some reason no one died in there either. Like, okay,
any man died.
They cannon fodder, cool. But I'm saying, as in and then on top of that, that's why she's even more of a snake. She hides why all these kids and children are getting slaughtered and that. And I mean, what could they have done? But it's just a terrible scene. Like,
to answer your question, go on, Daryl.
No, I'm just saying, out of like you're directing this scene, you're writing this scene. It honestly didn't cross your mind to think of getting the Starks to come out of their crypts and at least see them, look at them, show some shots of them coming at you, seeing Sansa's face, like traumatized. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the amount of
they had a lot of options. But to answer your question, Daryl, about how do I feel about the season, I feel like it's ruined my characters that I've liked. It's ruined them. Like we've already discussed about Bran. Like they ruined Jamie's character arc for me personally.
Yeah,
100%. Even Brienne, right? Her final scene in Game of Thrones was her writing the story on Jamie Lannister, finishing it for him. Why would she do that when the only reason he came back to Winterfell was to beat and then duck out? He left her. When he ducked out, he was like, "Listen, I love my sister. Like that's just where it is. You just have to. I'm not the man you think I am. I'm gone."
You know what?
And then And then when at her final scene in Game of Thrones is her correct. Why, bruv? Why? They just sullied her character. Why would she do that?
Yeah. You know what makes me laugh? It's just the fact that he tried and tested the box and thought, you know what, Cersei's is fire.
Real talk.
This is
Real
dead.
talk.
I'm gone. I honestly think real talk.
Boy, that incest box must be different levels, boy.
Yeah, I can believe that because man literally woke up in the middle of the night and it was like, you know what, I'm fun this, I'm good. Man didn't even wait till the morning. Man was like, nope, I'm gone.
But you know what's mad? Because obviously it's virgin box, so he probably like, and he didn't know that before either. He didn't know that. So when he actually arrived at Winterfell, and then she said, "I'm a virgin," he's like, "What?" Like he didn't want to say it like that.
He's like, even more excited.
But then,
yeah, as soon as he found out, he went to a room straight away.
Yeah, I honestly think if she dealt with man, he wouldn't have gone back to Cersei, bro. Yeah, Cersei.
but trolling aside though, I feel like they've ruined Jamie for me. Like his whole he went back to Winterfell for no reason. Like he murdered the Mad King because he cared about the innocents, and now at the end of the season. Yeah, well, that's what he said. He said to Brienne, he said it, and now at the end of the season,
he told Tyrion he doesn't
Cersei. Yeah, but that's what I mean. In this season, they completely made him do a 180. They just ruined the characters. Even Jon Snow, I don't like what they did. I don't like what they did.
Some proper Microsoft shit, bro.
Bro, they turned Jon into some proper bitch boy, and it annoyed me because everything he said out of his mouth was, "We have to serve a queen. We have to serve a queen."
Yeah.
Bro, come on, bro. You were taking. You was going sick in the battle of flipping that watchtower thing. Yeah,
Battle of the Bastards.
Battle of the Bastards. You were the guy, and then all of a sudden, towards the end, you start going, "Oh, we have to be a queen. We have to."
It's almost like they were writing for different characters this season, and for Jon Snow, he got banished to the Night's Watch. But when the Night Watch is supposed to, like the wall, as we said, the wall's been destroyed. Why are they there? Is it just serving as a prison? What are they watching? Are they literally watching the night? Because there's no White Walkers anymore. What are they protecting? What people?
Well, remember, I think if I remember correctly, the wall was originally to keep wildlings and all this other shit out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not the case anymore.
Originally, but then obviously, I think even Tyrion said they're obviously going to send you to the wall. Because no matter what, there's still going to be people that are, killers and traitors and rapists or whatever. They're still going to need a place to send them to. That's what Tyrion said to Jon. So, I said.
They banish man to the wall. You can't have a wife. All of this can't do anything like that. You have to stay in the Night's Watch. And what's the first thing man did when he arrived at the wall? He left straight away. He took the wild way.
He said, look, they said he had to go to the wall. They never said he had to stay there. He just went past the wall.
So it's pointless. Man, as soon as man got there, man rounded up the wildlings, saw Ghost, gave him a little pet, opened the door, and man was gone. And he went into the woods. What's Jon Snow going to do next? What is he going to do next?
They had to speak. This is what I'm saying. And the thing is, I feel sorry for the acting because, like I said, they did well with what they had, But these writers, obviously, for whatever reason, it turned out the way it did. They've basically destroyed a show. In my opinion, people, I was talking to Aaron. Obviously, he was saying, "Nah, I still love the show or whatever." But I feel like you can't honestly watch season 1 to 6. And then obviously watch 7 and then go, I can't wait to watch 8. You don't want to end it. You'll just stop. Like if it was someone, I'll be honest, if somebody wanted to watch Game of Thrones, I'll just say, look, just watch up to season 1 to 7 and just leave it. Because they
wouldn't be able to contain themselves though.
Yeah, maybe, but it's that terrible. It's that terrible of a season. Yeah.
It's the worst season in the show.
Yeah. Well.
And even like Arya, this is like one of my favorite characters. If not, she is my favorite character in the show. I felt like she spent an entire season with the Faceless Men, in Bravos, She went blind, all of that. but she only utilized that skill once after that, and that was in the scene that Daryl spoke about with Walter Frey making him eat his children in pies and all of that. After that, she didn't use it again, so it was like that was like a waste of time. Then
she did use it again.
Season 7.
I can't remember which season it was, but it was a season where 3 of these girls were lined up, and this guy was whipping them. I can't remember what his name is, and he was whipping these 2 girls, and then he whipped her, and she wouldn't budge. And he kept whipping her, and he went, "Oh, so I've got my hands tied."
I remember that. Yeah.
And then she goes, "Get out, girls! I'll deal with this chick." And he boxed her in her belly. Yeah. And then she just done that thing where, she takes the face off, whatever, and he's like shocked. She just starts stabbing him in his eye. But I just think all the magic was
underutilized.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
I think all the magic. It's like they wanted to remove all the magic from the show, because if you notice, all the stuff that people were doing was just slowly disappearing, like in terms of like the magic aspect of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe they don't want any depth, or they don't want to explain it anymore because they haven't got many episodes left. I don't know. But I mean, just to touch on this though, I just feel like obviously I know Aaron I keep bringing up Aaron in this, but he's the only one I can think of, that truly loved this season, whatever. But I just think that if the D&D guys said, okay, obviously there was rumors as to what they were going to do, or what why they done the way they did, they're going to go to do Star Wars or whatever the case may be. I just feel like if HBO, if HBO said, no, we want more seasons, and that the George is saying, no, you should have done more seasons, you've got the nod from everyone. So it's clearly them. There's no thingy about it. So there's no. We're digressing or whatever. But I just feel like you've basically just ruined something that a lot of people were regarding this show as one of the greatest shows of all time. Yeah, it was in that category, for a lot of people. Yeah. Only for you to just dead it off with the worst scenario possible.
All I can do is hope they never touch Westworld, bro, because I will petrol bomb their house. They never touch Westworld.
Well, like you said, with HBO, yeah, they offered them 10 seasons, right? And they said no. They said no. They said, all right, our compromise is that we will give you 2 seasons, right? But instead of 2 seasons, instead of a 13 episode season, we're gonna cut in half and make season 7 episodes, and then make season 6 episodes. But they could have had 10, and then the choices that they made wouldn't have felt as distressing as they do, because you would have had time to flesh it out, and it wouldn't be a complete turn. Even with Daenerys, obviously you can argue that she had signs of showing that she was mad, but any action that she took was always like a reply. Like someone tried to kill her, okay, you want to do this? All right, I'll burn you. All right, you want to fight against me? All right, I'll do that. All right, you want to free the slaves? All right, I'll burn you. Always a reaction. But with this, the final scene, she got what she wanted from since she was a little girl, which was a throne. The bell rung, they surrendered. And then she was like, you know what? No, I'll just choose to burn innocent people, even though I have what I've always wanted. It just it's you're trying to force it. You're forcing it.
It wasn't warranted. And the thing is, I understand the angle. I understand trying to turn her into a mad queen. And I'll be honest, I wanted that outcome anyway. And I had a feeling that was going to happen anyway, because I feel like, the sins of the father, blah, 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 whatever. I had a feeling they were going to go that route. But obviously, again, like I said, I understand the decisions. It's just really bad execution. That's all it is. It's just, and even the kid, like I said, the kid stuff was. I'm not saying it was hard to watch, but I just felt like I'm watching a show where she's burning people, and I said, no sane person, even if you burn the first batch of people, you wouldn't keep burning them. Like I'm talking, this woman absolutely.
She went victory laps around the same area, bro. It's wild.
It didn't even make. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If it happened once, where it was like we were talking about reaction, where she just thought, "I'm so vexed. You killed my Sunday or whatever. I'm so vexed. I'm just gonna have an outburst." Yeah. Or even this is what I said. There's so many options they could have done with that episode. Yeah. Because
they were burning all the way to the castle. That's what I thought was happening.
Or if she used Cersei, for example, if Cersei grabbed somebody as an innocent people and hid behind them, and then she burned them. then even that I'd have been like, oh, okay, cool, because Cersei put those people in her way because she knew how mad Dany was, and she put those people away, and she burned them by accident, right? And then she kind of feels this like remorse or something, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it would make sense to why she burned those people because it wasn't her fault, but she willingly just went, don't care, blah, 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 blah. Built, you know how much real estate she burned, you know how much money she has to spend now to sort that place out.
But it's criminal. It's criminal what they've done. Why would you have the option to make something better? You're getting paid to make it better, and you would choose not to. I don't understand why you would do that. I really don't understand why you do that. Like, I know Greg spoke about it, and he said, like, for instance, the climactic scene in the prequel Star Wars movies, like the big battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like, you can say whatever you want about like the Star Wars prequels, like it was trash or whatever, but the final battle, you can feel the tension, the emotion. Like he said, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to be the one that was supposed to take us from all of that. And that's what this final season should have been. This is what the moment between Dany and Jon should have been like. Listen, we believed in you. You were supposed to be the breaker of chains, like the mother of dragons. Like, how could you do this to us? Like, there was nothing. There was nothing. And they chose this. As Daryl said, they had so many options. Yeah. And they chose this. Criminal.
Literally, I could be there today with options, especially how Cersei dies. There's so many options.
There's a bag of options. I think
I don't want to give Arya another death, so I would allow her. But even without her, I can still think of like other ones. Yeah. Even yes, we can say Jaime doesn't kill her, and I'll accept that because I don't believe he would kill her. Yeah, that's fine, right? But even eliminating him, there's still it's too many. It's too many. Yeah.
Too many.
I just want to say regarding this season, like, I think for me it was overall an all okay-ish season. I think some of the highlights for me, like the music score throughout this entire season, was actually amazing. What you trying to say?
No.
No. Ignore the hatred towards the story. Yeah. Ignore the hate. The music was sick. Cinematography was on point.
Yeah, 100%. That's where the money went.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Arya throughout the season also was on point. I actually thought she did really well. She shined brightest in episode 3. Like the way she was moving in episode 3 was sick. I'm not even talking about the way she killed Night King either. I'm just talking about in general, like the way she was fighting and battling through, especially in the library scene as well. The library scene was sick.
Even though the blood was mad loud.
Yeah. that was
blood was dripping on the floor. It was like bang, bang, bang. Like,
I mean, to go back to that scene, obviously, I know we've like touched on a lot of different episodes, but I just think those 2 episodes, Battle of Winterfell, and obviously the penultimate episode or whatever, so much potential in those episodes. And no matter what anyone thinks, in my opinion, for me anyway, I know other people didn't care. They didn't care how the Night King died. The way the Night King died was fine. Go women or whatever you want to call it, fine. Whatever excuse you want to use, yeah. But what annoyed me the most is we were all hyped to think the Night King versus Jon. That was what I wanted. Yeah,
I wanted that as well.
Even if
Night King versus anyone would have been fine.
Even if you wanted Arya to kill the Night King so bad, I'll even allow you. Even if you had both of them, Arya and Jon, side by side, and they're holding their weapons and they're ready to go, and they say, like, let's do this thing, bruv. And they're all just slicing, and then she's like dodging and he's bruv. Just give me this show to do, bruv. I'll do it myself, seriously, yeah. And you know what's even worse is the fact that he had all these generals, yeah. You could have matched them all up. You could have done like a Naruto thing where you could have matched up all the different fights, yeah. All those generals that he had, you could have had one against Brienne, one against flipping Arya, one against, like, you could have you could have done like those eye to eye things in simple, like some sort of like camera action where they show you who's gonna be matched against who. I know I'm thinking like anime sense, and I understand it's a bit too anime, but I just feel like the Battle of Winterfell, you could have had the generals have a sick fight, and even that fight. Do you remember the previous seasons where I think when Jon first discovered the undead?
Yeah.
And that fight was so sick when you discover that they get hurt by Valyrian steel and get hurt by dragon blast.
He was getting boss up.
Bruv, and that's what's sick. He took that knowledge and you bring it to them and say, look, this is how we fight these guys. And it could have just been a sick fight where all the generals just go at each other. But I know some people were saying, why does he have to do that? He could just bring up the dead and then like he doesn't have to fight. I was just like, but that's the whole point of the show.
I would have taken a Night King versus anyone. But yeah, I don't think I'm happy with the wrapping of anyone's story. Like, even with, like, at the end of the show, I have more questions than I have answers. Like, even, like, throughout the whole show, they talk about the old gods and the new gods, the god of light, the drowned gods, the rightful god.
We don't know nothing about those gods.
We don't know anything.
I want to know about Valeria, bro. I want to know about
Obviously,
Valeria. Why is it so powerful?
We might get that. We might get that in the prequels. They might get that in the prequels. But this is this show. Right? Yeah. This show that they could have given us, as I said, 10 seasons instead of 8, and explained what is going on. And Arya as well going to Westeros. Like, what's she going to Westeros to do? And I want to know that. I want to know that. Obviously, people might argue like, oh, you don't need to know everything, but up until this point, season 1 through 6, they explained everything. So for us to, as I said, they had the chance to and didn't, and that's criminal to me.
Yeah. I think with Arya, it's one of those things where I guess she kind of semi-explained it, where it was like, I want to know what's further than
Westeros,
where we are. Yeah. So, and she's a wanderer, and she did say to the Hound, she said, "I'm not coming back to the north." Like, she was, as she was going with him, she said, "I'm not going back to the north, so I'm going to come with you," basically, like, kind of thing. And that's fine. But as I was saying earlier, I just feel like when you're talking about the Lord of Light and all that stuff, like I said, I feel like they were just trying to get rid of all the magical aspects. All the magical aspects just led to nothing. It all disappeared. All the magic stuff, all the conversations about
Bran. She could have asked Bran. She could have asked Bran, what's west of Westeros, Bran? He knows everything, doesn't he?
Maybe he doesn't know what's in Westeros, isn't
What, his vision doesn't go there, yeah. Okay. He knows all the kings. He knows all the kings. He knows all the history. Like, what's coming before. You should know what's west of Westeros. Yeah, bruv. That's Game of Thrones, bro. Oh my days, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a amazing journey. It's been a sick journey. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. Obviously minus the last season. This is my wrap up, but I'll always be grateful for the characters that were developed. The hype I enjoyed during every season, except from this one. I just think you could have given such a great send off to such a sick show. And if you had just followed even just half of the stuff that we've mentioned today, or even some of the stuff that was just common sense, I feel like this show could have easily been in top 10, easily top 5. Like,
easily.
There was nothing stopping it. And I just feel like a season this damaging, for me, just brings that show to like top 10, like top 20. Do you know what I mean? Like, just for the way they treated certain people, it just ruins it.
Yeah, so they did it dirty. It's not on levels of Walking Dead dirty, but it's.
I would say so. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point, because, as you say, how you end the story is almost as important as how you start it. So that's part of you have to end it proper. And as you said, like, with all the shows like Walking Dead, people are wishing like it will finish. Like, with me personally, Power, I can't wait till Power's over. Obviously, I'll watch a new season. But people with Game of Thrones, they haven't got to that point when they say, you know what, like, this is kind of dragging on. Like, let's end it here. Like, no one in history has said that. No one in history. Never. And the writers, D&D or whatever they're called, they chose to end it when no one wanted to end it. They could have easily carried it on and finished the story properly. I can't believe what these men have done. I cannot
Bro, I
believe
swear
it.
to God, if I see them doing Star Wars, yeah, I'm gonna switch. If I hear
It was
something,
alright. Just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride.
Nah, I keep slating him. I keep
Be
slating him. My
grateful
bad.
for what you've got. But yeah, one to
Wait.
7 seasons of greatness.
Yeah, 100%.
1-7, yeah.
100%.
Okay.
And I mean, it's mad because some people didn't like season 7. I just thought, no, I'm all right, you know.
Season
Because
7 was good. Season 7 was
actually,
good, bro.
isn't that the season with the Night King dashing the thing in Thingy's chest?
Yeah. Yeah,
Bro,
to the dragon's chest.
That was sick. I don't know what. Like, didn't they end
It
it?
felt like a different
burning
show.
They ended the season with him burning the wall, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, bruv. That was a decent.
Yeah, when you saw that, you was like, "Oh shit, season 8 is about to be lit."
This is what I mean.
The fact I was like, oh,
that. Any of those people that said, "Oh, the Night King was a side thing. It was a side thing. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to." No, but I can't say that. Every season they mentioned these guys. Every season it wasn't a side thing. Yeah, they had more airtime than most people. So to say, "Oh yes, it's a side thing," and then just to get a gut stab because I don't want to go into the whole thing. No, you can't guts. And she
everyone like a
stabbed the
side
whole
thing.
army. She gut stabbed the whole army. Just
Mm.
one stab. It's not bruv. Anyway.
Yeah, they treated everyone like a side thing, man. Even as I said with Daenerys, death, Cersei as well. Like prior to that, everyone got a good death. Ramsay got one. Everyone got one. Jorah got one. Rickon got one.
Oh yeah, that one hurt me.
Walter Frey got one. Ned Stark got one. But yeah,
Ramsay's...
one thing I said I would have liked though, if you notice, I don't know if you get man clocked, like Arya and Jon, they both had their hair just like how Ned Stark has his hair, like from season 1. So I thought that was a nice, I thought that was a nice little touch, and I felt like Jon hit this season, especially. I felt like he was trying to do the right thing, just like how Ned was trying to do the right thing. So when I saw that, it was like nice. I thought that was a nice little touch for me personally. But aside from that, absolute trash.
But I mean, obviously to wrap that up, I just think there were certain characters in this, this past season. I've just seen the growth. The growth has just been so sick up until this point. And just and Sansa was fire, man. I just keep saying it. Sansa was fire, man.
Yeah, Sansa's too sick.
I just enjoyed her this season. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And she looks better as well. She looks a bit more matured now as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think because she's taller, she's confident, she's.
I think that's what
skin. She's got that swag as well,
She's a bad bitch, bro.
When she wore that crown, you can see the swag dripping, bro. She was like, when she's walking, I was like, yeah, is that shit going on? The Queen of the North, the Queen of the... I was like, yo. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Oh, man.
This show, bro.
And even if they give us, the prequels, I don't think it would rectify what we've been given now because, it would just, create more questions, I think. Especially if George R.R. is, like
he's involved,
responsible for them, he will just do his own thing, which he's entitled to do because obviously he's the creator, and then it might conflict with things that have happened in Game of Thrones. It's like, it's a bit it's going to be very interesting, and I'm based on what they did here, I'm not sure I care about the prequels, to be honest with you. I'm going to let someone else watch it and then give me their opinion, and if they'd be like, all right, cool, after maybe like 4 seasons, if they're still like, all right, cool, then I'll catch up.
Look, as long as D&D aren't touching it, bro, I'll watch.
No, they're not. I don't think so.
Then I'll watch it.
I don't think anyone even trust them again. So
I think one of them is like The Long Night. They want to do like a prequel of like the first Long Night.
Yeah.
Then that's 100%.
That would be interesting.
That
would be interesting because you could get to see like the White Walkers like proper.
The good thing about the prequels, though, is they don't have to touch on any of the like problems that were in season 8. So
thousands of years prior.
yeah, exactly. They don't need to touch on any of it. I mean, obviously they'll bring up like things like Valerian and Steel and the dragons and stuff like that. But
stuff like
yeah,
that,
but as far as anything happening in season 8 that annoyed us, they can steer clear of that, and that's the advantage that the prequels have. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think the journey from season 1 to 8 has been amazing for me. I really enjoyed it. And also because I rewatched it recently, because Fran never watched it before, so we literally watched 1 to 7 all over again. I've just thoroughly, like, all the bits that I've like missed and forgot about rewatching it. It was just, this journey's been amazing, man. I've loved it. I've loved it. And as much as I've got very strong mixed feelings, very strong mixed feelings about season 8. It's just been mad.
But it's like iconic characters, very rich and complex storylines. And as you said, when you go back and you watch certain episodes, you think like this season just feels completely different, man. It feels like it doesn't feel like Game of Thrones, man. Like it's just like what is this?
Remember that meme that's going around with the horse's bum, and then like
yeah.
You know, I saw a clip the other day. I think it was the Mountain where he lost that jousting fight, and because he lost the joust with it's like season 1, I think, and because he lost the joust, he chops his own head.
That was ridiculous, man. Just like
it's just little things like that. I remember. I'm just like, what?
Yeah. You know how strong you have to be to do that, bro. I was like,
the horse's head so casually. It was bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
If you just go on YouTube, just type in Game of Thrones favorite moments or something, you would just it's just refreshing. You know what I mean? But anyway, it is what it is, man. What can you do?
Yeah,
true.
Boy, they got Star Wars next, The last thing we need is more disappointing Star Wars movies, bro. That's the last thing we need.
That's true.
I think I might just watch episode 9 and be ducking out, bro.
Say that again.
What was that?
No, I'm saying hopefully they can concentrate. They're not in a rush this time because they did write previous seasons and they were fine. That's the thing. So
they were following George R.R. thing, isn't it?
They're following the books.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, what a shame! What a shame these man. What a shame. They should be ashamed with themselves. They should be ashamed.
You need to ring that bell, bruv. That shame. I'm surprised there's no memes that have done and put their face on Cersei's face as she's walking down.
You're right, actually. For their actions this season, they should be stripped naked, and be forced to walk through the streets of London. and we should be able to throw tomatoes at their head.
Bro,
only then will I be satisfied.
I'm sure they'll bring a statement or something like, "Oh, we're my bad" or whatever. I don't know.
Man, they ain't never sorry for their shit, bro.
Yeah, they can't.
Of course not. What was it? I think Emilia Clarke said it best. Best season ever.
They're so outspoken about that. That's the bad thing. They're so outspoken about it. I thought they'll just be like, let me not, because you know how the Marvel guys do it. Whether they like it or not, they don't ever really say their opinion like that. They just just leave it. Whereas these man will just
even Bran, even the actor that played Bran, he said that when he first read the script for the final season and the final episode, he said he thought it was a joke because no, he said it was a joke because he thought it was like the directors wrote a script specifically for everyone where they ended up on the throne. So when he read that Bran ended up on the throne, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one." Still like, yeah, that's funny. And he was like, "Hold on, wait, what? This is a real actual script." And he was like, "Oh shit,
bro!" It was cracking me up there because after each episode came out and after each death happened, all the actors that died started going ham about the 8th season, bro. They were like, "Man, this is shit."
And now they're opted out. Now they're out. They can say what they want. Even Varys, I heard Varys' thing. He was going sick as well.
Bro, he was
upset. He was upset. Yeah, he was upset big time. But what they done with his character and how they wrapped up the season. But I can't wait until the dust has settled a little bit more. Maybe next year when they can actually speak more freely and be like, and come out and say how they really feel about how this season ended.
Bro, I can't wait for those honest reactions, bro. Like,
yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, so is that it? Is that what we got, bro? Have you poured your heart out with all your disappointment?
I think Daryl's got it off of his chest, bro. That's like 2-3 episodes build up, bro.
No, I have. I think the funny thing is, I could have gone way worse if I'm honest. But like I said, the other 7 seasons have like quenched my rage for this one season, and I can't get like mad. I mean, I am gonna get mad, but I'm saying it. You know, when what calms me down is when I think about the previous shit, and I just think, like I said, when I watch YouTube videos and I see all these like little things that happened, like even I saw like the Arya moments, special moments of Arya and stuff like that. Like, if you see how she started off, like from what she is now, I just think the growth was so good, and not just him. Not just her, but like obviously
everyone's character's growth has just been amazing.
Their stories were great. So yeah, man. Even like I said, Red Wedding. I never forget my moment when I felt that.
Red Wedding.
Yeah.
You know they do. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't get. I am mad, but like I said,
I don't know what they did, man. I don't know what they did, bro. I'm so upset.
The disrespect.
They've done so many pointless things. Like you said, Bran walking into the crows in the middle of the Battle of Winterfell to do nothing. He probably, as someone said, he probably went to watch Endgame and then come back because he knew exactly what was going to happen. Yeah. He knew exactly what was going to happen.
Even just the whole Cersei thing of Cersei just constantly not doing nothing this season. Nothing,
bro. The meme said the best, bro.
Shit. She didn't have there was no not say backup, but normally she always has these plans in play. Like all these little plans in place she has. Like even that whole thing when she blew up Marjorie and all them, like Mando.
Oh, yeah, I watched that episode. I watched that scene today, bro. Sick.
But that's what I'm saying. It's spectacles like that where you just think, and I think that was the last episode of that season as well, where she blows up like everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think she always has a backup plan, and I just feel like she could have had some sort of like trump card to play, whether it's the Scorpions or whatever. I don't know, but.
Even the Golden Company as well. They were supposed to be this big bad army, the best army that gold can buy, and they got duppied. Obviously, it was a dragon, but even their numbers were like it was dead. And even more pointless scenes. Even Euron, when he died, he looks up into the camera. He's like, "Oh, I'm the man that killed Jaime Lannister." What does that even mean, bro? It doesn't mean anything anymore. He's got one hand. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
They made Euron.
They actually wrote that. You have to think about that. They actually wrote that scene and be like, this would be sick. He's gonna look into the camera and see, I'm the guy that killed Jaime Lannister. Like, what, bro? They might wasted so much time, bro.
If he didn't say that line, and if you wanted him to say something at the end so badly, which I accept because that's his character, you could have easily been like, I left my cum in your sister or something. That even
ham with it, bro. Ham with it.
It's funny.
I left a prince in your sister's belly. Say that shit, man.
Something like to be really.
Say them bars, bro. Say them bars.
Be vulgar with it. He goes, oh yeah, every time, like if he's lying on the floor, like every time you taste your sister's perm, it's me in there. Where like
those bars are hard.
He could have gone sick. Yeah,
he could have. There's a wasted opportunity. It's a wasted opportunity.
They chose
the theme. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah. They chose. I'm the one that killed. Bruv, you could have thought of so many.
And he didn't even kill him. He wasn't even the one that killed him. He got
true. It was the rocks, bro. You know I compare that scene to, like Euron's scene. I compare that to when the Hound killed that guy in the woods, bro, where he like stabbed him up and he's like, "You bastards, that's the best you can fucking do before you die." Can't. That's it, bro. That's it.
When Tyrion was walking in that room, the only place that had rubble was where Jaime and Cersei died. Everywhere was just flat concrete, fam.
Like I was saying before, the episode before that, you could see it completely crumble. Like everything dropped. Like it was different stages. Boom, 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 boom.
Let's go, bro. We'll do this all day, bro. We should allow it.
Mad.
Yeah, if I was in the same room as them, I would just watch man in his face like that, not blinking.
Right,
Man with the right.
we
But
could
yeah, we've gone in it. Yeah, we could do this all day. Literally, we could. Right now, the GOT Defense League is turning in the grave.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. I would have loved, like I said, I would have loved for them to be in this. I think this would have been so compelling.
It's a shame. I'm like the only semi-neutral person in this conversation, bro.
I was kind of. I think I was fair. I think I was fair for why I asked for it. Yeah, I was fair. I
didn't want it to be bad. I want it to be good. I don't want my own time to be wasted.
Yeah,
I have no reason to hate it for the sake of it. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's wrap it up there, I guess.
Yeah.
So, mediocre season, amazing show. Would have been brilliant if it wasn't for season 8.
I agree.
That's the way I have to say it.
Yeah, still a great show.
It would have been a masterpiece. It would have been a masterpiece.
Yeah, I agree.
So, masterful storytelling until the end, and it's a shame. Like a lot of shows have like endings where you may not feel great about like the final episode, but this, as I said in the very beginning, this is the first time I've seen where the entire season is like the worst season in the entire series. Oh man, like 6 episodes. What were they thinking?
My only hope now for a masterpiece of a show is Westworld. That is it. That is my only hope for a masterpiece of a show.
Watched it, so I don't know.
I highly recommend it. One of the best new shows I've ever seen in my life.
I'll wait for 8 seasons, but yeah, let's not. After the 8th season, come back and tell me if it's still lit.
Yeah. I'll let you know after season 8, innit? Like that's the cursed season, bruv. If anything gets season 8, bruv, I start getting shook.
Let's do it. All right, then, man. Let's wrap it up.
So we've all given our strong opinions about the show, the season, the episodes, all how it feels. It's been a long road, and now it's the end of it.
Watch has ended.
Yeah, our watch has now ended, bro.
Yeah.
My final words on this whole thing is fuck D&D. That's my final words. I'm not saying any more than that.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, same. RT.
Man.
I think my final words is that episode 5 probably ruined the entire season. That was probably one of the worst episodes I've ever seen in the entire show. Like just everything about the characters, like the character development, just literally went in one episode. How the fuck you do that, bro? Yeah, it was
a slap in the face.
It was a disrespect to everything. But yeah.
Well, we've been the agents of screen, haven't we?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, of course. Yeah, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. Catch us.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, in the comments, remember, say what you think in the comments. What did you think of Brianne's box? Did you think it was better than S.C.R.E.E.N? Do you think? Decision between the two, tell us in the description.
That's another video that we should do. Who had the best box in Game of Thrones, bro?
Top 5.
Yeah.
Let's leave that for now. Let's leave that for now.
It's Agents of Screen. Peace.